Good evening from those in East Africa, and good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're listening from. This is In Truth and in Spirit, Well of Worship Fellowship. We are a non-denominational fellowship. We welcome everyone, those who are religious, those who are not religious, those who are opposed to religion like atheists, and everyone who likes to think and contemplate about social matters, spiritual matters, and sometimes politics, if need be. So that's what we do here every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. and every Thursday from the same time. Monday, we always have a topical discussion on matters of faith and religion. Then Thursday, we also have a topical discussion on social matters. And today is the 10th of April, 2025. And our topic of discussion is long time and distance relationship. That's what we are going to look at. There's quite a number. I want to post that in our chat so that whoever comes can follow through. Well, that's what we are discussing today. Long time and distance relationships. We have abbreviated it as LTDRs. We are looking at quite a number of things. For instance, what exactly is a long distance and time relationship? Why do people choose that kind of relationship? How do these relationships work? What are the pros and cons? How intimate can a relationship be across time and distance? How long is too long and how far is too far? Are LTDRs compatible with Christian values? And then finally, we will also respond to the question that says, should a Christian marriage or relationship for that matter be an LTDR, a long time and distance relationship? So that's what we're going to look at for now. And I hope the Lord will bless us. Okay. Something we normally don't do. Let's do it today. It's a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we want to thank you for those of us who believe in you, and also want to thank you for those who do not know you and therefore cannot believe. So come and involve yourself into the affairs of this fellowship. Teach us something new today, and lead this message to its audience. Give us a good discussion. Edify us. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Amen. Good. Now, what is a long time or long distance relationship? What is it? When we say long time, people who spend long without meeting. When we say long distance, people who are on different sides of the world, or they are actually distant for that matter, but they are in a relationship. So that is what a long time and long distance relationship is. But again, there's something here to note, and I think it might surface in our discussion. There are people who are not distant, but take long time to communicate and to talk, but they are not distant. That also is a long-time relationship. And then there are those who are distant, but see each other often. Maybe someone is flying in and out every week. It is a long distance relationship, yes, but there's a frequency of these people meeting. So somehow, somewhere, they have narrowed the distance. And then there are those who are in a short distance, but somehow distant. So it is important as we discuss these matters to understand what we exactly mean by time and distance. Because if you're not spending quality time with your spouse or with your girlfriend or boyfriend or partner, then there is a long-time relationship. And if you're not seeing each other often, regardless of the distance, then you're distant for that matter. And that also qualifies as a long distance or long time relationship. I guess we have to make some disclaimers here. We are not discouraging anyone. This discussion must not end any relationship, and this discussion should not start any relationship. The views that you'll hear here are for your contemplation, and the decision will be yours, and we will not be held liable for anything that happens to your relationship after the discussions today. What we are trying to do here and what we intend to do here is to inform your decisions. That's what we are going to do. We are here just to inform your decisions, but not to determine those decisions. So that is item number one. Now, why do people choose, okay? Why do people choose LTDRs? Why do they choose long-term and distance relationships? Why? Or do actually even people choose this kind of setting? Do they choose, or it is because of one's career, maybe because of the kind of the job that you're doing, you are distant and you take long, because of the education you are pursuing, you are distant, because of the financial capabilities, you cannot afford to be closer to each other. There are quite a number of reasons as to why people are in such relationships. And we might not excuse anyone from choosing, because at the end of the day, you made that decision to pursue your career, to pursue your education, to pursue your goals, and leave your partner behind. And by leaving, we're not saying that you left them, but you created space, or your career or your pursuits created space and time between you and your partner, which wasn't so initially. So I think there are reasons there, and we could come up with as many. To some extent, some people are in a long time and a long distance relationship because of what happened between them, and they are trying to use that time and distance for reconciliation. It is not always negative, or it actually has never even been negative, depending on who is speaking. So well, I guess that's what we can muse around and about on that issue of why do people. Then how do these relationships work? How do these relationships work? How do they work? Well, the communication is one of the ways they work. and they don't work. Because you see, the irony on this matter here, how these relationships work, long time and long distance relationship work, is that what makes them work is what makes them not work. So, so one of the ways on how these relationships work is communication. Keep talking to each other. Okay, you communicate using the technology. And do we have any other ways? Yeah, they could also be writing letters and and sending them, through messengers, then sending physical messengers. Okay, they work like that, you know. That running, maybe sometimes you start a project together, which actually helps your conversations. Sometimes when you run out of what to say about yourselves, then you turn that project into a matter of conversation, still under communication. Well, I don't know any other way how they work and how they don't work, because their time and distances. Then the other way maybe could be frequent visits. If your contract or your academic or whatever your pursuit is has got a time frame of over a year, you know. So how many times should you visit your spouse or your partner? Who should visit and who shouldn't? Should it always be the wife to visit the man, or the man to visit the wife, or they both should? Visitations is one of the ways they work, so that you can assert your presence, though it is once in a while, but at least someone can know. Then you can determine how many days how many in a week, how many times should we call each other in a month or in a quarter or half a year. How many times should we visit each other physically? This is how they work, and this is how they don't work. I guess you understand. How intimate can a relationship be in such a setting? That I don't know, but technology has helped us. We now have, I don't know how they call it. How do they call this sex on the call? Maybe you know those terms.
Phone
How do
sex.
if it's called phone sex again? Okay, fine. Yeah, you can use phone sex. Um, yeah, that's how intimate maybe you can get. And then writing letters. WhatsApp has got it gives you a very huge word count. Okay, Nanja, then there's sexting. Sexting. I have not heard about that. Nanja must be in a long distance relationship. So there's sexting. I don't know what that means. Maybe it is, I don't know what that is. Brenda will teach us that. But sexting also is one of the ways you can be. Is this being intimate or it is being erotic? Because you see, I don't know whether these are just semantics, but I'm sure they are not semantics, because some of us are just erotic through this technology, and we think we are being intimate. There are better ways to be intimate with your loved one than actually being erotic. But either way, this eros love also is very important. We must also get weird a little bit. I don't know how it looks on the phone, but as long as it is your spouse, that I think that's all right. For me, I think that is all right. Christian that I be. Yeah, so how long is too long and how far is too far? That is also something that we need to look at. How long is too long? How long should partners be apart, really? Is it 1 week? Is it 1 month, 6 months, a year? Can they go up to 10 years? Some people have gone till 15 years, you know. So how long is long? Then how far is far? Okay, if you're in Uganda and one is in Bundibujo or Bundibujo, is that Kasese? Huh? That is over 300 kilometers. And then One is in Kampala, or one is in Moyo district, and the other is in Rwenzori. You can see, isn't that again too far, but still in the same country? But if you think that that is too far, then how about someone is in Dar es Salaam, somewhere there, and then another is in Moyo? Uh-huh. In case you think that is too far, how about being in South Africa and one being in Uganda? Then how about one being in Norway and the other being in Burundi? Isn't that again too far? So where is too far? Where you know, uh, how do we, you know, make that distance look? How do we gauge it and say this is too far? You are really too far, etc. Finally, last two questions. Long time and distance relationships compatible with Christian values? Should a Christian be in such a relationship? Okay. In other words, what does the Bible say? Normally, I'm provoked here. What is the theology of of long distance relationship? That is our language at iTiS. When we want to ask the will of God or something Christian, we say, what is the theology of of long distance relationship? Then should a Christian marriage be a long time and a long distance relationships? Yes or no? Why? Those are the reasons. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. It's good to have you around. Enoch, the American Enoch. Kengazi Flavia, thank you for keeping time. Dr. Mukwana, thank you for keeping time. And of course, the chairman is always the first here. So you are all welcome as we wait for others. Please share your views. Start from wherever you want to start, and then we can get this thing going. Thank you. Okay. Aryong, you're also welcome. I can see you finally. Nancha, do you want to go first with your good network?
I just hope that it sustains.
How about you
Hello?
compete? Yes, continue. We can hear you.
So you've not told me what I should talk about.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. You start. Were you listening in the introduction?
Yes.
Yeah, start from where you want. Start from where you're comfortable with. Don't worry.
What are long distance relationships? You've already described that. I think people choose long distance relationships because it's inevitable. Work, because of work issues, and then some of them because they don't like they are evading the responsibility of being with someone.
What is that responsibility?
Yes.
What is that responsibility?
It's not so easy to live with someone in the same space and then having to care about have they eaten, have they done what, have they their emotional state, staying with them in the same space. So some people would rather just come and meet you when they need, that sexual intimacy physically, and then have you birth their babies, and then they go back. So some people don't want that connection, that human connection. Like it's tiresome for them. It's gruesome. So they are like, for me, I want to work being with someone in the same space. It may require it may prevent me from being more productive. So they evade that responsibility, and they are like, njagala kujabuza. I want to just come and see you, have the sex, see the children, and then go back to my space. where I can do everything I want anyhow.
Okay.
Some people,
That's interesting.
yes,
That's
yes,
very interesting, and I need people to think about it, whether all of us are cut for being around people all the time. Because maybe you're right, some people are not. It is emotionally draining. They want to be alone for certain periods of time, then they want to be with others for certain periods of time. So should we, as lovers, take some breaks?
yeah. It's
Hey.
important to take some breaks. That's why men usually say that they want they usually call it a man cave. When you have got to a point where you feel like like I'm not interested in interacting with anyone, I want to be in my own space. They go. And then they come back when they feel like, okay, now I am okay to interact with people. Women feel that too, by the way. Uh, how do they work? How intimate can okay, so the intimacy between people who are in long distance relationship depends on their on how they choose to interact, because some people can even take a month without talking to each other, and then they're like they're okay, they're in a relationship. Then there is me who will be like, how can you miss a day without talking to me? Are we still in a relationship?
Mm.
It's like uh, in such an intimate relationship. So it depends on the people who are taking part of that relationship.
Okay.
Uh, Long distance relationships are troublesome because, for instance, if the man is staying so far away and you're also far away, each and every one of you gets their own routine simply because they are not in the same space all the time. So
Mm.
if a time comes and that person says they are going to come and they are going to stay there a longer time, it is an interruption of the routine. You start to feel like, hey, Vanage, it's burdensome. Now all of a sudden, you have to clean for him and wash for him and iron for him, and then be on the tension. Now I have to give him food at this time. I have to make him this. When you're living alone, you can be like, I'll just go to the street and buy something and eat, or I'll not eat. I'll just drink tea and then sleep, and then the next day. Now when the man is around, you have to hustle. I have to cook. I have to do this. I have to do that. It becomes tiresome. And then also in the distance, you people have made a routine of, I just talked to him on the phone. Now apparently he's looking at you and he's seeing, oh no, Mukazi, why does she dress like this? And now he starts to tell you, Toyambala bwotyo, you have to dress like this. Or he starts seeing faults in you because he's now near, and now you nemutandiko yomba. Because you have not created that relationship long, ogenda olaba nga relationship ekumenya. Ate n'ekirala, adjustments ezibeerawo nti omuntu abeera ng'ali eri nga gw'oli eno.
You have already gone to Uganda.
Okay, when someone is the other side and you're here, sorry. When someone is far and you're here, your body starts to make up its mind. The person is not around, so it protects itself from having desires for intimacy. And now when that person comes, it is a disruption to your body. Now again, you have to think about, oh, now I have to have sex with him. I have to. And now, while the body is getting used, again he goes. Then you start facing again that problem of facing the body to make it readjust to the previous routine. It is a bit tiresome. It's a very gruesome process.
Okay.
And then it can cause you to gain dirty habits. For instance, masturbation is not a good thing. But how am I going to beat sexting and having phone sex with my guy? And then I might end up masturbating, because sometimes he'll be like, okay, you masturbate for me, then I also masturbate for you, like you do it. And then you start gaining dirty habits, you know. So for me, I'm like, long distance relationships, I think they are terrible.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Ah,
welcome.
Brenda, you have taken us through a number of very interesting things. Yeah, and I hope you guys have been following. Bob, is that where you come in? We don't know how you are today. Normally, you just log in when you're actually busy. Mhm.
Today I'm okay. That's why I was able to log it. Otherwise,
Did you take your spouse to the United States, or you are in this very thing that we are talking about?
let me first laugh. But
What?
but yeah, I mean, when we talk of uh, long distance relationships, I think I'm a definition of it.
Oh.
Uh, from the word go, I mean, I've known my wife for a long time, from senior one, senior two. We went to different schools after Bugema, so we started writing each other letters. Uh, when we came to campus, I was in Barara, she was in Makerere. That was still a long distance. Again, letters and phones were then now coming in, but not everyone owned a phone during our times.
Mm.
Then, of course, after university, I started working, and then that is there we got married and we were together. But then, I kept traveling in these work-related things. So again, I'll be away for 6 months, I'll be away for 2 months in another country. Then the longest one was this time where I came to the US for a longer time. I was away for 1 year before she joined me. But
Oh.
through all this time, it's been a long distance thing. So I'm talking from a very
Mm.
informed,
Yes,
uh,
viewpoint.
yes, position.
Yeah.
And I'll say that long distances have their advantages and disadvantages, and I don't know which one outweigh the other, but definitely they are not ideal. Okay,
Mm.
it is not an ideal situation, but because of the nature and, well, as I've explained, you may
Mm.
find yourself in that situation. You don't say that, oh, me, I don't do long distance relationship. Once you have someone, a time will come when you may have to say to be away from each other for some time or for a while. So that should not break you down. Or if you don't want to be in someone's space for so long, it may so happen that for you, you'll get someone and they'll be in your spaces, as in all the time. So love is really what matters, and you can get through these turmoils of either long distance or
Mm.
continuous uninterrupted close proximity with each other by
Mm.
learning to just navigate through things. As you said, Isaiah, what breaks long distance relationship can actually be the thing that keeps them too.
Mm.
I've noted that through long distance relationship, somehow the it deepens some connection in
Mm.
terms of you are calling the other person and now wanting to find out a lot of stuff. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
um and even when my wife came here, funny, it so happened that she couldn't find a job within the state I was, so she's none other state.
You guys are now, you're a distance couple.
Yeah, so but we'd travel, like, maybe 2 weeks on a weekend or at the end of
It
the
is
month. And
it is
yeah,
easier than.
so yeah, but then it should end soon. So what I'm saying, there's always that gap comes to an end. It said it's temporary. Okay.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
and we hope we are going to be in the same state soon now for longer. But I was
Mm.
saying that it strengthens your communication, because I call her every day, almost 3 times a day. You know,
Mm.
I know when it's lunchtime, she's having a break, we talk. When this, and then I'm asking, how was your day? The things I actually may take for granted or may not ask when we are together. surprisingly. Like, you know, I mean, you take her for granted, she comes back home, you know, like, okay, welcome back to home. And then like we are into the routine of the stress of home now. This, that, we need to do that. Now here, I actually call and I'm really doing, it's very qualitative that I'm asking, oh, did you move well? What was this? What, you know, how was the day?
That kind of
So,
freedom.
yes, so it's kind of, so it depends the emotions, but at the same time, the risks that I think Leila pointed to, of you know, that physical touch and presence. Okay, but I realized, I think we discussed, for example, previously about these issues of sex and stuff in a relationship, and I was telling you guys that you eventually get used to the situation. There are men who say, I can't live without sex on a daily basis. But you will find yourself in a situation and you will not have it. And then you realize, oh, I did not die. I'm not dead. Like, I mean, life still continues. And then when the time comes, you have it. So the human body was created in a way that we can adopt, we can adjust, and
You
to any
can't.
situation. Hmm?
I'm asking for all the men here. Is it true that you can't die if you don't have sex? Because
Yeah, there are people who will say, no, 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 I must have it. I mean, and they're like, it is like if they don't have it, that's the end of their life. But you can realize you can go for a whole month without it. And you're like, okay, the month has gone. So these things, anyway, just to summarize, um, long distance relationships can be good and they can be tolerated. The most important thing is that you love each other and you navigate your way through it. It actually creates some form of independence too, because, for example, if my wife depends on me for many of the things at home to do this and that, some technical things that she's not able to do, when I'm away, she is forced to actually do those things, you know? Even now, as she drives, she's forced to check the oil of the car. She's forced to kind of the things which I used to do when I'm around. Now she does them, and it's good for them because if I'm away, it doesn't mean that her world is going to come to an end. This is when, if your spouse dies, the other spouse, they say, oh, the guy is going to last for only 3 months and is also going to die. So this kind of long distance creates personal good independence, and one is able to do things on their own. I didn't know that I would cook, but being alone, you know, when I was in Uganda, every time my wife used to cook for me and our maid, you know, but being alone taught me that, hey, man, you need to learn how to cook for yourself. You need to learn to be yourself in this and that, you know, wash your own clothes, do this, or like it creates that kind of self-independency, which is a good thing, not to depend on someone and for everything, that for some aspects of your life. So yeah, I think that's what I can submit for now as I wait for maybe other people to put in their inputs. And yeah, but prayer, please pray. Long distance relationship, it, because if you're not used to it, it requires some form of resilience. But eventually you get there. You get in that realm and you accept the way it is. And then when you join with your lover, that is like the best moment you have, when, because you've longed for each other. Lovers need some form of break or holiday from each other, and then when they reunite, it's like love times 10. All right.
yes, sure. I guess you need the grace, like you've said, and then reunions actually look like spices for that old wretched relationship and marriage. Thank you so much, Bob. Doctor, your microphone is on. Do you want to come in?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to ask Bob.
Yeah, sure.
Bob, I wanted to find out, have you also had those so-called phone sex? Or the ones in Ancha called the sexting, something like that? And if the answer is yes, so do
Bob
you
is a
get satisfaction? To the extent that you no longer need the presence of the other?
No. To answer you directly, I don't do phone sex with my wife even. When as I've told you, I've given the chronology. It's been a long. The phone sex is more of. I mean, like the phones the calls we make are not like these things of, oh, like I'm longing for you. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I've not had that issue whereby, okay, let's be on this phone, we call, and then maybe you make me, you know,
Then we get queer.
yeah, you make me satisfied on phone. If you're not here, you are not here. That is the thing.
Okay. Secondly, are you prepared for coming together now that you've been in long distance for a long time? Are you mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared?
I don't know if I'm getting your question right. As I told you that I mean we see each other, and we've been together for I mean when I was in Uganda before I came, I mean we were living together, seeing each other every day, with the kids. I mean we were together. It's not like we have not been together like I don't know how to explain it, but I know what to expect already.
Okay.
So yes, I know what to expect
Yeah, I think
because
you've answered my question.
I've experienced it before and I know what to expect here.
Okay, thank you.
But the life here is so paced. So it's going to be different because even when we are together here, we will not be ideal. Life here is work, work, work. You may find that you are seeing each other maybe for an hour or two, and then maybe over the weekend, that's when if one is not working. But here there's a lot of work, work, work. So it will be a bit different, but I know what I'm expecting. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, Chair, this is for you. What happens to couples who have different beds? For example, I sleep in a different bedroom and my wife sleeps in another bedroom. Isn't that a distant relationship?
That's why in our introduction we mentioned that, and now that the audience is here, they can also participate in that. But in my introduction, I said that time and distance here, that's why they are in commas, because we wanted people to understand that if you are married and you are staying with someone, but you are not giving them quality time, then that is a long time. For instance, people are married, but they have taken long without talking, really having a talk and a conversation. Or they just talk like a receptionist and a client. Where is this? Where is this? This is where, this is there. And that's it. And many couples actually call that talking, but you are not talking. In fact, you are not communicating, you are actually talking to each other.
That's right.
Yeah, so that can also happen even when it comes to those different beds and bedrooms. I don't know. I don't know what others have to say.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yes, maybe you'll come back with your point. Let people first of all address your issue. For
Okay.
example, me and Abby, we are in a long time and long distance relationship, but we're in the same city, you know. So things like that. Yeah, Justus, are you there?
Yes, I came late.
But do
I've
you have
been,
a girlfriend or a wife?
she's here, she's on. She should be in the fellowship now.
Let's be careful. Okay, fine. Let's be careful.
No. She's okay. I am in a long distance relationship. Right now, my wife, she's in Uganda, and I'm out of Uganda. I've spent, I think, this is a 4th to 5th month. And what I can say, you people, it is hard because now for me, it was a new relationship. God had just given us a baby boy. I didn't even wait to see the baby growing, and then I left. So that's why I've been here laughing when I was listening to some of the presentations. And I'm eager to listen more. I will say later.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for even sharing that experience is actually enough for us. All right. Chairman, what do you have to say? Do you have something to say? Your experience? What you've had?
Yeah, let me say something. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, because you, I know you are in a close relationship, not in a
Yes, let me speaking from experience. I've been married to be 12 years in June.
Wow, wow.
The longest I've been away from my wife is 1 week during those 12 years. And even in that week, I was speaking to her every day.
Okay.
So I don't know whether that was still distance. But yeah, so for me, I don't have a personal experience to share, but I've observed couples around me, the place where I currently work actually, because we operate in war zones in some areas,
Okay.
people are forced to stay away from family. So there are some, we call them duty stations. There are some duty stations that are not for family. Of course, Entebbe is a family duty station, so you can live with your family and all. But then people in these war zones in Congo, Somalia, and all that, those are non-family duty stations, so you cannot live there with your family. What they do for you is every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks, they give you what they call R&R. R&R is rest and recuperation, basically 2 weeks for you to go home and then come back. So every 6 to 8 weeks, you can go home for 2 weeks and then you come back. So that's how they manage that situation. But I can tell you from observation, not done any scientific research, but I can tell you about 80, the biggest number of separated and divorced cases. This is the place I've worked where I've seen the biggest number of divorcees and separated people because of long distance marriages or relationships. Because you cannot be physically in the same place with your person.
Yes.
And you know, in some of these places in a war zone, even communication is tricky, so you can't be on a video call. When rebels took over, what's this place in Congo? The first thing they hit is the GSM network. So phones off, internet off. So what do you do when you are in that area? So for me, long distance, unless it is really for a temporary period of time, for whatever reason, it is not advisable. Okay, of course, the reasons that, like you said in the introduction, there are many reasons. It
Yes.
could be work, like I've described. It could be sometimes you live in a different country and your spouse can't get a visa. You're forced to stay in your home country. Sometimes, again, because of work, like you said, someone works in Kasese, another one works in Guru. When will they ever meet? That is at least 12 hours on the road or more. So yeah, so for me, long distance really for temporary, for a temporary, for a short time, basically. Because the biggest risk is you learn to live without your person.
Which is dangerous.
You know, these things you learn to do by yourself. You know, what makes marriage interesting in one way is how we depend on each other. I know that when I get home, I'll have a meal already. So I don't have to worry about whether there's salt, whether there's sugar. You know, someone takes care of that. The day I learn how to cook for myself, I'll probably think, but why do I need this wife anyway? So that's a risk. It's a risk. It's a good thing, yes. Someone learns to live without you. But then the disadvantage is someone learns to live without you again. I mean, the same thing. And then that becomes very hard. Yeah, unfortunately. So when somebody comes back into your space, you feel like they're just. Have you ever been in a room or in a small house and there's someone else in the house? You feel like it is so small for you. You're used to living alone, throwing your legs, you know, everywhere. Now someone is back in your space. Actually, let me share two experiences. Then I keep quiet. Again, from people I know. One, I lost a job in Uganda, relocated to the United States. As you know, so for really, you know, you go into a new country with no plan at all. And then he was away for 7 years. The wife kept asking, okay, plan, what's the plan? Are you coming back? Are you there for a specific number of years? Basically, and the guy just said, you know what, I'll tell you. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years, he had never come back to Uganda. The next he had is the wife is pregnant for another man, obviously, not the Holy Spirit. So again, so some people move into other countries without a plan. I think when you move into another country, you need to give your person a plan and say, you know what, let me go work for 3 years or 5 years, then either I'll come back here or you will join me there, you know, some kind of plan. Long distance without a plan cannot really work.
All
The
right.
second one I want to share, then I shut up. Again, is another person who first of all dated via long distance. You know, you date via long distance for 2 years. The time they actually spent physically together within those 2 years was I think 6 weeks when the girl first came back for holiday. But
Oh
the
dear.
whole dating was online on Facebook. So the
Eh.
time, imagine in 2 years, you've only been together in the same space for 6 weeks. And then they decide to get married. I can tell you that marriage didn't last even 3 months. It ended because they basically didn't know each other. They knew this cyber person, you know, on the
Yes.
internet, you can create a persona who can appear the way you want.
A cyber personality.
Yeah, so for me, so for me, long distance, no.
No, it doesn't.
Let me give chance to others to also speak.
It doesn't work unless you're a victim like the American Bob, because Bob has been a victim since school. Life hasn't been easy on him.
At least he tries to, you know, bring the wife closer whenever he has a chance.
You know,
It's
he's
not like this one. 7 years.
Yes. Bob
7 years and you're not telling you. Is that what?
Bob is aggressive and a foot soldier, so you can't match his competence.
Clearly.
Sure.
Okay,
Chairman,
back to you.
yeah, Chairman, thank you so much. Thank you very much. You have actually helped this discussion, and it is interesting. And I want to repeat the disclaimer which I mentioned earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, the views shared here do not intend to separate any relationship or to encourage any relationship. No, the views shared here intend to inform your decisions. We are not going to determine any fate here. We just want to inform your decisions, and then together with your God, you'll make that viable decision. We believe that we worship an involved God, and we pray for those who are not in long distance relationship that they will stick together and they won't get bored of each other. And we pray for those who are in a long term and long distance relationship that the grace of LTDR will fall upon you in Jesus' name. Okay. Ariong, can you talk? Because I want to ask you something.
Yes, I can.
Yes, sure. Now, how does cultural orientation, can you mute will struggle with that when you start talking. Okay, we will struggle when you start talking. We cannot struggle all the way. How does culture orient resilience in such settings of long distance relationship? Because there are some cultures where you marry someone and you leave them and they are going to wait for you for the next 5 to 6 years and you will find them untouched, especially women, not men, because I don't think men are cut for long distance relationship. We are all fallen, but sin affects men differently than it affects women, at least in some matters, not in everything. But there are some cultures where girls are trained to wait for their husbands. There are some cultures. How, Tom, how does culture orient and help and facilitate resiliency in these long distance relationships? Say something and then the others will back you up.
Oh, well, culture has its do's and don'ts. It has ways of binding people who believe in that culture into following the norms of that culture because of the threats that are involved. So I think culture does good to orient people in long distance and long time relationships. I don't know whether that is sufficient, Sebo.
Okay. In your culture, how long can a wife wait for her absent husband?
Before modernization or now? I'm asking.
You take us through both.
Yeah, before modernization, once a wife was married to me, she would be mine for life.
Okay.
Actually, in the Iteso and Karamojong culture, divorce was non-existent. Divorce is a new development. Where if I got married to a woman and I passed away, that one will not leave my house. My brothers, my cousins will inherit her, and she will still remain in the clan. That is what it used to be. And when you got married to a Kejong or an Iteso girl, and you went to war and you went abroad, wherever you went, you would come back and find her intact.
For how long?
Time was non-existent.
So she could
It was
wait.
non-existent because
Your network has decided to behave like the Karamajongs, not the present Karamajongs.
His network is in a long distance relationship.
Yes, it is struggling with time and distance. Interesting. But how does culture? Because in ancient days, men used to go to hunt and they could spend weeks there. You remember that generation?
Yes.
Hello, are you back? Your network?
My family.
Hello?
Yes, I'm back now. I am back.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes. So you said that time was not important. It no matter how long.
Time. How long wasn't when she came? She had come. Actually, she would come with. She would rear the chicken. She gets goats out of this chicken. She gets cows out of this chicken. Meaning, when she comes, she has come.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your bandwidth is low. That's what I'm told here. But at least we got the point. Is that the same with the eastern, because that is from the eastern region where doctor comes from? Doctor, is that so from the Vasoga? Okay. Peter, do you want to represent the Professor Peter? Do you want to represent the Baganda here? Or do you want to say something?
Thank you, moderator. Thank you very much for this time. I'm still wondering, one day when you were teaching us about relationship, I think that is 2015, I remember one of the definitions, it was one definition that I cannot forget. And this is the definition I remember. You said relationship has got two words, relate and ship. It means those who are on one ship and therefore they are relating. And I remember you contrasted something. It was very interesting. You contrasted that there are those who are in a public relations. So that people are not in a relationship, they're in public relations. So it is from that background that I come. How could it be long distance and it is a relationship?
Yes, you could be on the Titanic. One is at the captain's dock and the other one is at the back.
Because Mr. Moderator, because I'm coming from that conceptual, that conceptual world.
Brilliant.
Relationship. I was listening to my elder brother Bob Miyanja.
Mm.
And he was saying, you know, we even now communicate more often. And then I waited to clarify. And then he said, you know, we call each other, we call more often. And I was trying to say that, you know, they're not probably communicating more often. They're calling each other more often.
Mm. Mm.
I think that should be clear there.
Yeah, that was comparative. That was actually comparative from the experience he had given us earlier. Yeah, he said that things have changed so far. They have come a little bit better. So they communicate more often, and then they visit each other more often because they have the means now. Being in the same country does not mean that the distances are shorter. They only have the means. They can fly there. They, you know, they have those tubes which are faster, which he could not access on his motherland. So he said now it is more often than it was. That was the whole idea. So what's the nature? What's the nature of your relationship?
Now, that non-verbal communication has already communicated.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, but Mr. Moderator, I'm wondering how sustainable the sustainability of a long distance relationship, like we have called it. Yeah. For example, speaking like a man, of course, no man wouldn't think about sex. I mean, as long as they are men. I would wonder how one would sustain that for a full year. Okay, one time I learned, I think still you are teaching, and I learned something, you know, that it isn't it, or more, in fact, isn't it appropriate that people in a long distance relationship first agree to pause the relationship? Isn't it appropriate that way? And I'm using the word appropriate, or prudent, or necessary, or human. Yeah, so that we don't find offense, which is a very difficult thing. But now that we have technology, we have AI, probably we can even be physical, even when we are virtual. Yeah, that in a long distance where probably also matters what caused the long distance. What might have caused the long distance? Yeah, for example, if I go to United Kingdom next week and I have to spend 4 years doing my PhD, I am a student there. I'm not earning. I'm not making a living. I've gone to study. How should I relate with my spouse?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Servide, for actually reminding us that that Holy Spirit inspiration of the relationship. Okay. Actually, the other point was that that ship must be going somewhere. It doesn't have to be always there at the dock because ships are not made to park. Interesting. Thank you. Abby, can you talk? Can you talk, Abby? All right. Brenda, I want to, Kenganzi, do you want to say something? Flavia? Maybe a question or, okay.
And Kenganzi is a victim.
Ineviona, please mute yourself. Do not attack my panelists. Yes, Flavia, do you have any?
Well, as one of the participants has already said, I'm one of the victims.
Okay.
Long distance and time relationships aren't all that good because at first me myself, that's when I had met my husband. We were together for some little time. Because of some reasons, he left, went for work. Right now, it is very hard to get used to this long distance and time relationship because, yeah, we do call, as you said, it's not communication via call, but it is very hard to catch up. I really don't also advise it. So since I'm one of the victims, but sometimes you find you have no other choice but to accept what has happened.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Flavia. Thank you for even sharing your experience. It is hard, but I think the experience of Bob, Bob, I call him Bob, but he's Enoch Miyanja. The experience of Enoch Miyanja can actually help those who are in such a setting. And we normally at iTiS Fellowship, we normally want to be practical in in the solutions that we give, and even in our definitions of the problem. But we think the experience of Enoch is good for you. You can talk to Enoch as newcomers in this setting. Enoch has got an experience of over 13 years, if I am right. No, I think.
That's it. Not 13. I've been married for 17 years, but I've known my wife for 30 years.
You see, so I think Enoch can help you. And by the way, come back and share something with Kenganzi and Justus, because they are all running the same thing. They have the same experience. Do you want to say something to couples that are struggling with? Okay, I don't want to call it a struggle, but those couples that are into such a setting. Briefly, Enoch.
Yeah, so probably one thing is, I don't know if people, I think we discussed here before talking about marriage vows that are made in church that are not actually biblical. But when you make a vow, these are things we don't take seriously. But we need to start thinking through many of these things, because when you're in church and you're saying I do, in sickness, in whatever, in richness, you know that line, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they should also add long distance in when you're there and when you are not, because
Maybe
these are,
maybe long distance falls in for worse, because you
yeah.
for
So I'm going back to that in this aspect, because there are many things that you're not going to anticipate when you get into a relationship or into marriage. Okay. And this is one of them. Maybe by the time you were marrying, you didn't know that your husband or your wife would be away because of work for a long time, and this is a new thing, but you remember your vows. That aside, I wanted to first comment on one thing. I want to agree with what Jethro said. Yes, it's possible that a lot of divorce and separation can happen in people who are in long distances. But I also wanted to let people know that most of these things are also in our mind. And this is what I mean, like, you can be with someone and be with your spouse. And I'm giving an example, like Jethro said, the longest he's been away from his spouse is like a week or two. But even someone you stay with daily in that bed, in that house, the moment they leave that house and go to an 8 to 5 job, they can completely do something that someone who who is away from you for 6 months may not even do. I don't know whether you get what I'm trying to say. If they are to cheat on you, they will cheat on you as you see them every day. You know, at 30 minutes they will go out to to see a friend. They will sleep with another man, or they'll sleep with another woman. So the assurance of all couples are together. I mean, like we've been reading stories of someone having 5 kids, and then 2 of them are not his, or 3 of them are not his, and this is probably they've been with this person on a daily basis, staying in the same house, but the other person gave birth to 3 of the kids from another person. So these things again go back to a personal decision. You make a vow, long distance will come in, you find a way of navigating through that with the grace of God. And the most important thing that has probably kept us going is that we always focused on, why are we doing this? Okay. So you're going off to work for a year or whatever, you're going off to study. What does this mean? We've agreed on this together, because when you go there, it's going to open opportunities for us. Okay. You're going to maybe, get a higher degree, you're going to get a high paying job, and, we're going to do ABC. So much as a family or relationship is not about money, okay? It's not about giving emotional support, being there physically. There's a lot of things that the family has to focus on, and some of them would be to sacrifice for a better future they see together. And if that means them being away from each other for a year or 2, and stay faithful to each other, and prepare for that time, then that can help them go through those turbulent times. As I was telling you, I mean, it's now been for us married 17 years, and with all the long distance issues, we are still together and we are still focused on the goal. Yes, we have sacrificed. Yes, even at the moment, someone cannot imagine, how can you be away from your kid for even 3 months? But we know that it's for a short time. As I think Jethro was saying, someone was saying, I don't know if it was Jethro or Isaiah, that if it's like the 7 years is really a lot. I can agree. 7 years is a lot, and a lot of stuff can happen. But if you have a plan and you're saying, okay, I'm going away for 1 year, I'm going away for 6 months, and maybe during these times, I'll try to come back if I can, because I'm allowed to come back, and bridge that gap. So it's all about planning for it. But it is doable, I'm telling you. It is not an ideal situation. We all agree. I agree 100%. But for people that love each other and have committed to each other, it is something doable if you discuss it and plan for it and know how you're going to navigate through it. You'll support each other, make sure you call each other, make sure you who is able to travel back without limitation, you can, because there are people who travel and come, for example, here, Kuchieyo, and they've come on tourist visas, and then they disappear, they apply for asylum. Now, such a person is very difficult because they don't know when they will be able to come back home. And in such cases, such marriages end up breaking because the person even has no hope, because they are waiting for their papers to be approved, and it may take even 10 years. But for another person who's like in a student visa or who's gone for work and they're allowed to travel back and forth, there's no reason why you cannot sacrifice and you travel back, and you bridge that gap, and you connect again, and then you go back. So it is all a case by case basis, but I'm telling you guys, it's possible, as long as you all are focused on the vision of the action that is taken by your spouse to go for that long distance for that specific period of time. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope my sister Flavia, you picked a note from there, and also my brother Justus, and whoever is going through that kind of setting of that. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, good. Well, to outline the points that actually Bob has made, which are actually very practical, is number 1, commitment. By the way, this is something very important for us to think about. Commitment to your vows. We have sworn to each other for better, for worse. Okay. Well, those vows don't have to necessarily be literally printed in the Bible, but the principle at least is in the Bible. If you claim to love someone, then it is that person that you love, not any other person. So you have vowed to, to commit to that only person. So commitment to your vows is always very important. You have to always be reminded whenever you want to give up. Always remember that and push on again. We are not saying that that long time and long distance relationships is the ideal, but this is something that we have to wrestle with. Number one. Number two, he also talked about the importance of sacrifice, self-denial. Deny yourself for sacrifice or for the other. And that does not necessarily mean that commit suicide for the other person. There's a difference between being sacrificial and being suicidal. And I think we need to clarify this thing, because if you've been waiting for your spouse who is waiting for a visa or for a green card of the United States or Canada or any other country, which is going to take 20 years, and you're also waiting for the next 20 years, and you're a lady and he's a man, I don't think that is sacrifice, that is suicidal. And I have seen many suicides being celebrated as sacrifices. We should be careful. We should be careful. But I think what Enoch has taught us today is have that ability to sacrifice and to deny self. It is a sacrifice that you can make for your love. Love lies bleeding. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Where there is love, there is sacrifice. So learn to do that. But whenever you see suicide, get to know that there is no love there. There is some kind of mental illness and sickness. So let's not confuse the two. I think that's very important. The other point that he made is plan. Have a plan. You're going to study, you're going to do your PhD, okay? Before you set off to go and do your PhD, which country, okay, can you do your PhD in the shortest time? Find out before you set off, because sometimes you set off and go to a country which is very disorganized, and you have to do a PhD for 4 years, really. A PhD 4 years, okay? Then there's another setting. I was talking to Professor Serubide, and one of the
Isaiah,
yes.
Let me tell you just a second on that.
Yes.
As I said, even when you go for a PhD for 4 years, as a
Yes.
student on a
Yes.
PhD, during
Yes.
those 4 years, you can actually travel back home during the year.
Exactly. Yes.
So don't go and be there for 4 years. Plan and say, okay, in the December holiday, I'll travel for a week or two, come back home, see the guys, then go back and continue my studies. So I'm just saying, maybe it's not an ideal example, but for people who are going to study, that is, they can arrange to come back within that period several times.
Yes.
Let's continue.
Analyze the situation, then contrast it with your circumstances of your relationship. Because I think I should mention this earlier, Ron. I think there is nothing. Let me make this statement. You guys might agree with me or disagree with me, but there is nothing as important as your relationship. Did you hear that? I hope I wasn't alone on the mic. Whatever you do, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are listening to me, I don't know whether, am I still on? Because you guys are too silent. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, sure. So there's nothing as important as your relationship, not your career, not your whatever. I know we are in a capitalistic world where money is another god here, and and where careers determine our identities. But I'm telling you, if you are in a loving relationship, there's nothing as important as your relationship, because after you're broken, you've been pursuing many things. It is this person who loves you that is going to stand on your wasted body. And so there's nothing as being loved by someone. There's really nothing like that. That whole thing, you need something to depend on, and you don't need something, you need someone. You really need someone. So there's nothing as important as your relationship. So as you plan, whatever you're planning, contrast it with the most important thing. Okay, contrast it with the most important thing, and that most important thing is your relationship with that person. Then the other thing that Bob actually hinted on is the cost. The cost, because if you are to travel back and forth and visit each other and make sure that you assert your presence in the life of the other person, What is the cost? Can you afford it? Is it affordable? Is it affordable? If it is not affordable, then can you risk your relationship? Okay. What is the character of your person? Because sometimes you people, we are in love with some people, but we are their rocks. Do you guys understand? So sometimes you need to first of all understand who is Isaiah is before you distance him from you. Can he manage? Okay. Does he have that? Because for me, I think at a certain point after you have analyzed your person, you'll have to make that decision of not going where there's that greener pasture, and you stay on this little thing, and make sure that you retain your person, because you know how they are. The Bible says that some are golden vessels, others are silver, and others are wood, and others are clay, and others are clay. That's what the Bible says. So who is your person? Is he golden? Can he go through all that fire and become purer? Or is he wood? If he goes through little fire, he will just turn into ashes. So analyzing your person and getting to know who they are is really very important before you make that decision to distance yourself or even put time between you. Interesting, interesting. Thank you so much, Enoch. Thank you very much. You have educated all of us. Good. Dr. Mukwan, I called you earlier and you didn't respond. Are you still on? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Sure. You know, we reverends have always something to say. So say something.
You see, these people have been slashing here and have been making a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry.
So I don't know whether we are still at long distance or something else.
No, we are still at that. We never deviate. We are still at that.
You see, personally, I think that when I get somebody, I am not necessarily getting her for sex. I've just discovered that sex is almost a smaller component of marriage or relationship. But a person you can share with and a person that listens to you. The greatest weaknesses of man, of a man, as in man, male, is a failure to share the struggles they go through. The only now challenge comes, in fact, that's why I even asked, what if we are living in 2 bedrooms? Somebody who cannot listen to you. You come back, you really want somebody to listen, just to listen to you. But somebody's already moody. I normally give an example when I'm here with my brother Peter, that you struggle here, you go down there and eat portioned beans, come and struggle, up to 10, go home. But somebody at home thinks you're there with the campus girls, you're enjoying. Some dirty thoughts fill their heads. You go home to somebody who is moody, you're already full, the friend is full. That is already a long distance relationship. Because somebody is not of help. And when a man gets a woman who can listen to him, that's when the cheating comes in now. Because when somebody listens to you very well and you share your emotions and your feelings, the body begin to respond, the chemistry begin to mix. Nancha said something here that there are times when somebody needs their private time. That I understand. But why should you not communicate? Why should you wait for me to take a shower and I see you take a shower, you're all looking romantic. My appetite is aroused. I'm waiting to eat. After eating, all of a sudden you tell me you're not in the mood. You see, that torture You are not in the mood today, but you have aroused something. You are in a night dress. You are from the bathroom in a towel, but you tell me you want a private time. Go to your people. Go to your mother. Don't stay in this house. When you are in the house, you should be ready to eat and to be eaten. And for the food to taste, the cook must be happy. The mood must be appetizing. When that time comes and you want to be alone, you tell me I can't even contribute. Go to a hotel and rest. Go to your parents, not in this house. Because for us men, maybe I'm speaking on my own behalf. I may be here right now when I don't have appetite. But 1, 2, 3 moves in the house, whoosh, the hunger sets in. And then you tell me you want to be alone.
Amen.
So Pastor,
Auntie, the hunger has kicked in.
Reverend Chichicho tukuze.
Reverend gone.
Hey. So yeah, I think ladies should understand. They should understand that we are not looking at them as sex objects, as they put it in their minds. We need this companion who is going to be there when I need them. Sometimes I come back home, I'm tired, I take a shower, I sleep. At 2 a.m., I want to eat. You know, my grandfather told me that a good woman should prepare food both in the dining and in the bedroom on a daily. I thank you.
Hallelujah.
So distance will affect your sexual life. That's what I hear from Dr. Mukwana. For that matter. Abby, your microphone blinked.
Mine is on.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Let me first go with you, Ariong, because I know I won't have peace with Abby. Yes, Ariong.
Yes, I know my weaknesses. I know my needs as a person. I can't stand long distance relationships. If I'm going to be away for more than 12 months, we need to make a pact with my partner. She gets a man until I come back, or she gets a man for good. I can't. This is me. This is me. I'm not talking about you. If you are saying that is you, I am saying me. I cannot.
Okay.
More than a year. Sibisobola. I can't stand. I can't stand that discomfort and the pain. Sisobola. Ne Yesu achimanyi. Thank you.
All right. Sure. Abby, you want to come in there?
Not really. Not really. Let me reserve my comments, but Chikafe Mukatonda should also know that even the Bible gives us a break on certain needs. So
is it the Bible or nature? I have lost her. Am I alone?
We have lost her too.
Okay.
I think she was. Can I come in?
Yeah, come in.
Yeah, I think she was referring to nature, or the break in nature. And I mean, that's a fact. But for me, my comment is not even at that break in nature. For me, I wanted us to think through this thing. I mean, again, I will share very personal experience, and I will tell you, as a man, you will not die. I insist. Because
Men must abstinence
at
does
the
not.
time, I'll give you an example, like as a married man, you know, those things, oh, I want sex, I want sex. And then you come back home, your wife has also been working somewhere, they've also come back home. Maybe the day was bad for her, or whatever, for some reason, she has this pounding headache, or whether it's made up or not. Even when your body is really, you know, like he wants to do it, you know, but you have to also be compassionate to the other person, and because sometimes it's going to be you who is sick, who is having a headache, who is okay. They say even men even if they have headaches, they will still eat. But I just want, like, I want, if love puts yourself in the other person's shoes. The ideal situation is that you wake up at 2, you want it at 2, and she gives you at 2 a.m. That will be ideal. But it may also not be ideal. She could not be feeling fine, and she's not in the mood, and that is true. So you let her be, you give her a break. So it's not a do or die that, you know. So I'm just telling guys that, and this is a personal experience because I've been on both sides, whereby I'm like, no, I must have. And then I realized, no, really, what am I insisting on? And I realized, yes, I didn't die. The night I slept in the night, I woke up, I went and worked. And then the next day, things were okay. So let's be considerate. Not that because you want it at 2 a.m., she must give it to you. If she doesn't, then she's not a good wife.
Everybody wants to give you.
No, I even want to buy him Javas if it is there abroad.
Yeah, his number is 0775 822 Please send that to Javas.
Reta
Now,
Manyaga Isaiah.
Okay, now you see, Bob, maybe your testosterone levels are down. That's why you are sounding like that. There are men who
I've been in too much long distance.
that
the
the hormones have already balanced themselves and neutralized themselves.
They survive on Javas and KFC.
Oh, no,
Yes,
whatever.
Ebi.
There is no way testosterone, what did you call them? Those ones, levels
Testosterone.
can mandate your self-control. What
Okay.
my brother Bob is saying, it's a matter of understanding and trying to mitigate the need that you have in that moment. There are also so many times you would come back home. Yes, however much you have a headache, and I'm trying to seduce.
Tell me, please
No,
leave Ebi. She comes once in a while. You'll make us lose her. One more continue.
no. But the thing is, he is right. He is so right. Because not marriage, I think, and relationships should not really be based on the sexual factor. Some people are even not that good. It's all about hump, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and it's done. Have you thought of the intimacy? You know, you men, you can even, that's why you have a saying that we men, we can have sex with a woman we're not in love with. But us, it's deeper. It's deeper than that. So when you actually have sex with me at 2 a.m., let it be virtual and good and great sex that in the morning I will wake up and I'm glowing. But you're going to think you will want it just because I don't want, I am not maybe being submissive or anything. But imagine the meaningful, impactful, and intimate sex I'm going to have with you. And it will even take you for a week or 2 or 3. So let's define sex and actually being intimate, even in a long distance relationship. Because I've seen people who literally don't have sex, even when they're in the same house, but their marriages are blossoming. And then you have this one who is night in, night day, and they're facing challenges. So I agree with my brother Bob, as in it should be ideal and realistic. Despite the long thingy, what is that called? The long distance relationship. Sorry, guys, I have to go.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ebi, and thank you, Bob. Now, before we go into the sex topic, maybe we shall have some time and discuss the sex also. The chairman will organize for us that session. But what we are looking for here is that if you are in a long distance relationship, long distance and long time relationship, you have to have the capacity to understand, the capacity to understand. What are we saying here is that if you call your partner and they are moody and you know you didn't do anything, you give them that time to be angry because a lot has happened and they cannot explain and they are angry at you. So you justice is not forced understanding. It is actually nurtured understanding. Let's call it nurtured understanding. Long distance relationship must nurture you into understanding. You remember when I said that when I was challenging Enoch and telling him that maybe your testosterone levels have dropped, and then he said, "Yeah, well, I have lived in long distance relationship for a long time, maybe, but maybe that's right. Maybe that time has nurtured him to come to that place of understanding." Sometimes you're going to call your spouse and they're angry for no good reason. So don't also react the same way. Be the understanding side. If they're insulting you, take on the insult and bear that. There must be some side which is understanding, because we have already discovered that long distance and long time relationships are crisis relationships. At least in our discussion, I think that has come up. Yes, Professor Peter.
There are instances when she gets moody or angry without a reason, and probably there is a reason, but the reason she wants is that you apologize for nothing, and then she gets back to the mood. If somebody has just got angry or moody,
yes,
for you to apologize for nothing you've done,
please do. We advise that you do. Do you know why? Do you know why we advise that you do? And Brenda, I'm coming to you. The reason that's why you should do it is because their anger and their mood swings are not as important as your relationship. Now, like I earlier said, there is nothing as important as your relationship, not even their mood swings and their anger, because you know they are going to come along, really. So you apologize for what you did not do, because that's what they want to hear. Then after some, when they are not in that shape, you can now recommunicate. I think that is another term now. You can now recommunicate that incidence and then try to help them not do it the next time, so that you nurture them, we grow. Brenda, come in. Sorry, we kept you long. Yes, Brenda, come in. You thought it was easy.
So I wanted to inform Professor Peter that it can never be for no reason. I think there is a time in my life when I discovered about how troublesome my hormones can actually be. Hormones can make you be angry at someone for no reason, and then you feel like they have wronged you so much, and then you become moody and you even cry, and even you mourn, you and then you mourn, and then all of a sudden they even transform, and then they make you like someone and over no reason, and then you become happy, and then you say those people are so good to you. So I think men should come to an understanding that women's bodies can do terrible things to them, and then they be more patient and more kind to us, just like we also can somehow we be kind to you when you're backing at all, be acting moody for no reason. So Professor Serubide, when your wife is doing such a thing, you put into consideration the fact that her hormones, which is the reason as to why you end up getting DNETA, they might even be acting like that, so that you can look at her and then start apologizing, and then eventually it is nature playing games on us. We must make babies.
It is nature playing games on us.
Hello.
Yes,
It could be induced by lack of good sex.
it may not even be sex, just pure hormones, so that the woman can be like that. Then the man keeps apologizing, finding out, so that eventually he can end up having sex with her so that they can make babies. Nature.
Nancha, pure hormones are dangerous.
Yes,
Yes.
it is an entire condition. All right. Okay, good. Who has taken long without saying something before we wind up? Okay, who wants to say something? Just switch on your microphone and tell us what you want to tell us about this topic or what you have gathered so far. Yes, Justus.
Musumba, there are men who are sick. So sometimes, and they have to get a dose. So when your hormones are pure, when this patient die.
Yeah, I think we shall come another day on this topic of sex, its frequency, its situations and circumstances that determine that. I think that day will come. But for now, we just want to emphasize this subject matter of long distance relationship, because unless if you're saying, are men here saying that you are sleeping around when you are distant, because if you don't sleep around, you will die? Is that what you're saying? Because the initial message of Enoch was that men should understand that while sex is a need to you as men, our Lord and Master Jesus Christ told us that no one builds a house before they count the cost. So before you distance yourself from your source of sex, please count the cost. How are you going to manage the issue of sex without violating your vow to your spouse? Now that you will die, if you know that you will die for lack of sex, please do not leave your wife. Thank you. Is that okay?
But I have to go and do a PhD now.
Yes, but now you leave the balls back home and go and do your PhD. Can you do that?
Why not?
Now, you see, the problem I have with AB is it's saying beginning with you. Don't bring our family issues here. Now, did you guys get that point? Because this is the cost. This thing is very serious. So there is no way you can't eat your cake and have it, because it looks like you guys are driving us at a point where women must understand our promiscuity. But they also have the same body. They also have sexual desires, even though their desire for sex is not a need-based thing like ours is. And I think these women should understand that for us, sex is a need. That is why we don't require quality sex like the one AB was advocating for. No, we don't require that. We just want something. That's what we want.
Actually, Pastor, our need is not even sex. Our need is to ejaculate. But the process is sex. Sex benefits women as we get the ejaculation.
No. If you put it that, then masturbation is better for you. That's not the whole thing. That's not true. That's not true. Okay, fine. Any other thing about this, and then we wind up? Okay. Yes, Brenda, your hand is raised.
Yes. Msumaizi, what you have just explained to us, that the men, they have a need for sex. It is not necessarily a need for sex. It is the same thing that I was trying to explain about, which women also face. It is the body saying that you must reproduce, whether you like it or not. You must. So it tortures you. Dr. Marino taught us something some years back. He taught us about menstruation, women, and pregnancy. And then he told us that when the woman takes long to get her body is to punish her, because it says that I also want to get her bleeding every year. You
Your
should
network,
give
your network,
me a
your
child.
network,
That
your network,
me, I'm a living test.
your network is bad, so you
It's
are not.
terrible. Can you hear me now?
We can't promise you that we'll continue hearing you, but now we
Okay.
can.
So I was saying that Dr. Marino. Okay.
No, you make the point.
About
Make
that,
the point.
that okay. The point is that the body punishes us and forces us to do things.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
we
Fine. So you need also to now to tell us in the future whether sex is restrictively a body business, and it doesn't go beyond that. If it doesn't go beyond that, then we are just as the same as animals, which is unfortunate. But I think that discussion will come in the future. It will come in the future. Human sex is not restricted to the body. I know what the body does, and we all know what the body does. And some people deal with the body by using sex tools, masturbation, etc. There you are just dealing with the body. But you see, sex has got that mind world. It has that. And sometimes it's the mind that triggers the body. And of course, in some instances, the body triggers the mind. We all know that, and we are adults here, and we have experienced all of that. But for now, I think I would like to thank you for all your views. One of the things that we have realized is that long time and long distance relationships are not ideal, and therefore they are a crisis type of relationship. The intimacy in such a relationship is quite a challenge and difficult. We are not saying it is not doable. It is doable, but very difficult. Therefore, if you have ways of avoiding long time and distance relationship, please do that. It is better that you do that. But for now, I want to read a verse for you. It is in the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 24. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. And I'm reading from the RSV as we wind up. And this verse says, "Therefore, a man leaves his father and his mother, and cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh." My interest today is in the fact that there are two things, two actions and two verbs that happen: the leaving and the cleaving. Wherever there's a relationship between a man and a woman, there must be a leaving and there must be a cleaving. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a very difficult world where some things are inevitable. But we have a responsibility as people in relationships to exercise perpetual living. The Hebrew word for living there is azab. Now, one of the translations of that Hebrew word azab, to live, is to lose. So sometimes you have to be prepared to lose something for your marriage, for your relationship. You have to be prepared because your relationship is more important than what is. So you have to live. You have to live. Normally, when we preach this verse, we are telling men to leave other women and women to leave other men. No, but there are other things to live for your relationship. And I'm sorry to mention this, but sometimes even your career, some amount of money, some paying job of a certain amount, if it is an opponent to your spouse or to your marriage, then you have to side with your spouse. And that's why I come now to the other point of cleaving now. The Hebrew word again is dobak, cleave, to cleave. Now, cleave is having constancy in presence. You have to be around. You just have to be around. So for those of us, or for those of you who are married.
So it is consistency of permanence.
Yes, yes. There must be that. You must surface. In fact, this cleaving does not even require you being in a distant relationship, but there are many people who are not in a long time and long distance relationship, but they are not cleaved to each other. An example that doctor gave us, where people are sleeping in the same house but in different bedrooms. That's not cleaving. You are absent. You are still absent. Then you are not cleaved to your spouse, okay? If they don't see you in their psychology, you have to be present in the head of your spouse. If you're absent and they just remember you on your way back home, hey, but what's Jolly? Some people just even remember that they're even married. That's dangerous. That's really dangerous. So the Christian relationship is about living and cleaving. So some of us are distant because we left our spouses and we cleaved to our jobs. That's the unfortunate bit. So it is better, if you can't live and can't cleave, to always suspend the relationship, postpone the marriage, go and work and cleave to whatever it is. When there's a cleavage between you and what you left your relationship for happens, then you can come back and renegotiate this relationship. Thank you very much. Thank you for being with us today. May God bless you so much. We'll come back next Monday. We are always here. This is In Truth and in Spirit, World of Worship Fellowship. We welcome each and every one of you to always join us. And please always remember to support us. You can support us financially. You can support us in prayer. You can support us in your presence. May God bless you and thank you so much.